Mercedes-AMG GT4 entryway coupe is at last here, the hotly anticipated family-sized variant of the Mercedes-AMG GT. However, you may consider how it fits into the Mercedes lineup when there's now a 4-entryway roadster, the CLS-Class, that concocted the idea in any case. Despite the fact that we don't have all the nitty-gritty determinations, eyeball estimations have the GT at about an indistinguishable size from the CLS. In that capacity, we thought we'd complete a little jump into the two models and perceive how comparable, or extraordinary, they truly are. Outside. The reason this sort of auto exists is about looks. Something else, the main medium-size car Mercedes would offer would be the E-Class. With the goal, that's the place we'll begin. In the likenesses section, they each have comparably formed grilles, and the back sashes are shockingly indistinguishable with genuinely level highlights. Also, on account of the CLS 53 and AMG GT 53, they each have a repressed rendition of the AMG GT car's pushbone lower grilles. The all the more capable AMG GT 4 entryways get substantially greater vents, and the base CLS has a more mysterious lower grille zone. The distinctions section is somewhat bigger. Regardless of having comparative primary grille shapes, the AMG GT is recognized by the vertical bars that are presently an AMG trademark, began by the AMG GT-R. The CLS has only a basic level bar that is strong on the CLS 450 and split on the CLS 53. The AMG GT's headlights are lower and more flat than the glaring lights on the CLS. There's all the more going ahead in the AMG GT's sheet metal, as well. The hood has a couple of conspicuous lumps like those on the SL300 gullwing. The AMG GT's bumpers and guards swell out significantly more than the similarly rigid and lean CLS. Furthermore, obviously, the AMG GT is a hatchback, though the CLS is a traditional vehicle. Execution. The other key angle to these autos is their execution, and this is the region that the two Mercs vary the most. The CLS Class is offered with two motors, both of which are 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-six barrels with a 48-volt electrical help. The essential motor found in the CLS 450 makes 362 strength and 369 pound-feet of torque. Climbing to the CLS 53 brings the yield to 429 HP and 384 lb-ft of torque. Those are respectable numbers, which most likely clarifies why the AMG GT basically begins where the CLS leaves off. The section-level AMG GT 53 utilizes that identical motor as in the CLS 53. It even has a similar 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 4.4 seconds. The AMG GT 63, however, swaps the 6 for a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 making 577 HP and 533 lb-ft of torque. That is really a similar measure of energy and marginally more torque than the green hell brood, the AMG GT-R. The AMG GT-S 4-entryway takes things up to 11, or perhaps 12, with 630 pull and 627 pound-feet of torque from a tuned-up variant of that V8. Notwithstanding power predominance, the AMG GT has a couple of other accessible execution cards to play. There's an accessible electronically controlled restricted slip differential for the back pivot. There's even electronic backwheel controlling accessible, like that of the two-entryway AMG GT. Inside. We now move from the most separated parts of these autos, to the minimum separated, the insides. Truly, the lodge plans of these two 4-entryways are almost indistinguishable. Observe for yourself and check whether you can pick which will be which. The best photograph is the CLS, the base is the AMG GT. The key distinction is the middle comfort. It's somewhat more, taller, and complement in the AMG GT, loses the simple clock, and has a shifter with the AMG emblem decorated in the middle. The CLS's shorter rear makes more space for a capacity canister, and highlights just the infotainment controls between the seats, leaving the shifter on the guiding segment. Something else, the two autos utilize fundamentally a similar guiding wheels, vents, screens, speakers, trim and lighting. One other contrast is that the AMG GT is accessible with two diverse back seating designs. It can have either a 3-situate seat, or two individual back seats with carbon fiber backs. The CLS manages with the back seat situate as it were. Presently, what's the distinction in space between those rearward sitting arrangements? Without specs or our butts in their separate seats, we'll need to keep a watch out. Same thought, distinctive group of onlookers. Everything considered, while it appears a little odd that Mercedes offers two comparable looking and estimated autos, it turns out to be less bizarre when taking a gander at the subtle elements. Every supply low-through roadster looks to changed purchasers. The CLS-Class is gone for those that need style and incredible execution, however don't have to kill supercars on the end of the week. The AMG GT is for those that request world-class execution, yet require something more useful than the two-entryway AMG GT.